So what's it like to daily drive Stage 1 MazdaSpeed 3? Well, the first question is, what makes a MazdaSpeed 3 Stage 1? Well, Stage 1 can really be anything you want it to be. But saying Stage 1 is pretty much the entry into modifications and will pretty much be the same for every car. An official, unofficial Stage 1 MazdaSpeed 3 consists of just this: an intake, high pressure fuel pump internals, and a tune. That's really all it is. Straight up, just a little bit more airflow. But that also affects the way the car drives. And that's why we're here today. We're gonna figure out what it's like to daily drive a Stage 1 MazdaSpeed 3. First thing that we're gonna be talking about here is, well, what's the power difference? And can you really tell the difference daily driving? So here's the thing. The power difference isn't huge. I've stocked out MazdaSpeed 3s before, and I've gone from an intake tune to just stock with the airbox. And to be completely honest with you, there wasn't a big difference. This could all depend on your intake size. MazdaSpeed owners for their first intake might put on like a little, 2.5 inch kind of stock size intake. At the end of the day, you can only bring in so much more air. You're still restricted by your exhaust setup. Your intercooler is still gonna, our intercooler is the greatest thing. So you can't really expect a whole lot of just out of an intake. It's unfortunately not Euroland where you're GTI and you can just tune your car and make 100 horsepower. Tell you that the power difference isn't really that noticeable in my opinion. Just consider that if you really want to go Stage 1 to see some power gains, I don't think those power gains are necessarily going to really be present for you. Like I said, you will feel them a little bit, but I don't think it's not even going to be as close as to, a Euro's Stage 1. We already have that from factory. Okay, so what about drivability? Now this one's really good, and I don't think a lot of people really think about this one, but I do. And this is gonna be like the biggest thing about, going through Stage 1, Stage 2, Stage 3, and daily driving it when I talk about this stuff. The thing is, there's things that change. When you make more power, more torque, your motor mounts are under more stress, which makes the car a little bit more harder to drive. When you get into the throttle, instead of kind of like a smooth power delivery with like an intake tune, say with like Stage 2, making so much more power, it's more hard. I gotta hold on for dear life versus like, okay, this is fine. This is all good. With the intake and tune and the high pressure fuel pump internals, your drivability doesn't really change. And that's good. Your motor mounts aren't under a lot of stress. So when you're shifting, it's gonna feel, relatively the same. And overall, the car is gonna drive a lot better actually than it did on factory. When you get tuned, depending who you get tuned by, but I find that when you get your first tune or whatever, it just makes the car drive so much better. Just the reaction to the throttle input, how it gets into boost and how much throttle you need to get into boost and stuff like that. It's really hard to explain, but when you experience it firsthand, it makes sense. And it's just, a lot of people even recommend, even if you don't want to do an intake, just get a tune and a high pressure fuel pump internal, because it's just so much better than the stock tune. I find these cars are not only better to drive, they're a lot more easier. And I think it's a little bit more predictable. Now, when I make this video, when I go Stage 2, that's when things are going to change and you're going to hear a different answer out of me. So I think that brings us to the question: is Stage 1 better than stock? Yeah, Stage 1 will always be better than stock. You know what? And some people might prefer stock. That's fine. That's why I kind of make these videos, because there might be a point to where someone says, all right, I don't really want to do that anymore. And that leads to my final answer. What's it like to daily drive a Stage 1 MazdaSpeed 3? And I think if you're not crazy with mods, or you're just a general kind of person, I think it's literally the best mods and tune for that car, the best drivability that car will ever be. Obviously, when you go fast and stuff, it's fun and stuff, but I think the car gets a little bit more, it's different to drive. It has its different characteristics, and I think the Stage 1 is like the perfect way that car ever drives. So if it's on your list of things to do, I would definitely recommend it. Your high pressure fuel pump internals, your intake, and that tune is gonna just make that car just so much better and how it should have been. It would have been like an update. Consider it like a 2025 update to a 2007 MazdaSpeed 3. It's like the modern day version of how it should drive. It just makes sense. It's just so much better, and I definitely recommend it. And that's the video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to subscribe and leave a like a video. What stage is your favorite on the MazdaSpeed 3? Put it down in the comments below. Other than that, guys, thank you so much. Keep it real. I'll see y'all in the next one.